So let's begin. So today we are going to be looking at the topic metrical phonology, and I'm going to tell us this. Please, let's read. Let's read. I could see, because part of why I wanted to discuss. It's just because I have a board meeting today. I would actually taken time to give feedback, but I thought again that probably I should just leave it until we discuss in the class. Then for me to tell you people essentially what I think. I think just one or two people that actually said there's somebody is like the person went to carry one work and copied, because I was saying that as you said in this article or in this paper. I mean, you are just giving a discussion about what you have aggregate of what you have read, and you are talking about paper. So for me, that's the person went to leave somewhere. But let me leave that. Let me go to today's topic. Maybe by the time I put join, I can make my comments. So we are going to be discussing metrical phonology today. And my name remains Professor. Why is it not moving? Professor Authe-Nwabueze, and facilitator for this course. So last week we focused on generative phonology in Module 2 of the ENG841. But this week we are going to go to Module 3 and we'll be discussing metrical phonology. So in this module, so what shall we be looking for? So we learn a general overview about you have general overview of the metrical phonology, what we are talking about. I'm going to say that what I'll be giving you is skeletal leading onto the core things in the course. So I expect you to now go forth and do your own research. And that was how I was trying to test. I will see put another discussion forum. Unless it's, although this week we are busy in the university because of the communication. But let's just see how it goes. So I'll look at the stress parameters we'll look at metrical tree, the metrical grid, as well as stress clash. Then also look at the stress parameters of boundedness. No, please, this should be quantity sensitivity. Let me correct that. Quantity sensitivity and distance. Okay, so that's corrected. So we'll be looking at that, then we'll look at the stress parameters of boundedness, quantity sensitivity and distance there. We'll also look at some indices for determining the need for experimentality. And all these are more we are going to discuss in this module. So I'll be taking it module by module. So like I said, I'll be taking module by module. So now what are we expecting you to be able to do after this lesson? So we are expecting that at the end of the lesson, you should be able to give a general overview of metrical phonology. Then identify its core elements such as metrical tree, the metrical grid, stress clash. I also expect you to be able to describe stress parameters such as boundedness, quantity, sensitivity, and distance. And then begin to also discuss in-depth your understanding of experimentality and the indices that affects its operations. So these are the things that we are expecting that you should be able to do at the end of this lesson. So the question that we ask ourselves is, what is metrical phonology? Now, it's essentially, of course, when you say metrical, we give you an idea of meter. And when you say meter, if you are used to, as English students, I'm sure you have learned about poetry, and then you have learned, and the same thing also, of course, that's why you say poetry and phonology are quite related. So we are talking about musical sound or musicality of the sounds. Let me put it like that. We can talk about the musicality of the sounds. So it has to do with the organization of the organization of stress relations, stress labels and their neighbors. So the way one label relates to the other, and essentially it has to do with the stress on stress positions or the metricality of stress on stress arrangement of the position between syllables, or what you call strong and weak stress patterns in the presentation of the phonetic elements in actualization. So when you are speaking it out, then how to that somebody, that's how we say that English is a stress timed language. So when you talk about that timing, so one up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's what we're talking about. So this is a way to help you to how to determine and to analyze this organization or this structure. So this is what we are talking about. So this can graduate into the metrical fit and the reading of the structure. And this could be seen in the sing-song. So what I'm saying, the sing-song based on the vowel peaks of syllables. So when you have a syllable that is that is the peak, which is usually the peak, like I think we talked about that. I don't know. I think we discussed that in the generative phonology. Now I can't remember. So the vowel is the peak of any syllable, like we know. So the syllable can have an onset or it may have a coda. Now, if the syllable has some syllables, of course, do not have. If you say, I am a girl, so A is a syllable that is all by itself. Of course, maybe most times because it's a functional element, you may not have peak. It may not have peak. But if you say something like I'm in awe of you. Or that one is actually, it does not have onset, does not have coda. It's just a peak that is standing by itself. So which is usually the core of what you have on syllables. Now, what we're saying here is that now, if within a structure, not just a word, a structure, you may have the syllable playing out. So you most times we look at them at the word level. But even beyond the word, you may have this metrical pattern indicated. And then, of course, moral is when you have a syllable that is having circumflex clusters at the coda level. And this will make it to be very heavy. So all these things come into play when you're looking at metrical phonology. Now, McLiberman and Alan Prince have a quarrel with Chomsky and Haley. Of course, you know that what we are talking about here is actually based, like I said, on the sound pattern of English, like presented by Chomsky and Haley in generative phonology. Remembering that the sound pattern of English itself is actually based on the sound pattern of Russia that was written by Haley. So he now look at it that that these scholars seems to think that the presentation of phonology that they find it objectionable because to them it is actually based on the transformation generative grammar. That's the format of the generative phonology, and that's why it is also sees generative. So this is their quarrel with them that this does not really represent the English language. But then the thing is that what do you think? It seems to them that that's the only way it could be analyzed, probably because no other people have actually looked at it to analyze and to assess this what's it called now? The phonology from this angle. So they look at this metrically, the pattern is that it's more generative, and that's why you have the rules, phonological rules that we have in the module 2. So that you can say that okay, when this is this is what happens, when this is what happens. When this sound is occurring in this particular environment, this is what happens. And this, which is the pattern that you have with generative phonology, generative grammar. So, and that is what they found objectionable. But there are a lot of things they said there. You may look it up and then let us have. Now, if you have read that chapter, if you have read that book, the question is this: what do you think when you look at your videos on the topic so far? What is your own opinion? I would like to have it, so maybe I'm going to put it in the discussion forum for you people to let me have your opinion when you read up, and let me see what do you think. Are they right to be objective to what Chomsky and Haley did, or do you think that Chomsky and Haley are taking too much upon themselves? So let me have your thoughts on that. Let's look at the first activity here now. Phonology seems to follow a linear binary arrangement in presenting syllabic occurrence of stress. Now give your view on this in addition to discussion in this room. What do you think? Metric phonology has a linear binary arrangement. It presents syllabic occurrences of stress. What is your own opinion about this? What other way do you think we could have organized it? So may I have your hands? Does anybody want to tell us? What do you think? What do you have to say? What do you have to say about this? It is linear, it is binary. But now we know that we have said. What do you think? No comment. Okay. Now let's look at phonology in it. Now, what am I talking about? When you talk about English, you know, you are talking about Shaki, Fufu, and things that are inside. So we are talking about the I don't know what other word to call it in the inner organs. So this is what we want to talk about now. So what are those things that are inside metric phonology in the way it is analyzed, in the way it is looked at? Now let's look at the presentation of the linearity of the stress elements. We have said it, and I've asked you the question that about the linearity now. It follows one another. Elements in the diagram from now. In this case now, we now see that the way you have in the minimalist program, you have the two branching nodes of the stress analysis again. So the usually binary is branching to replace the strong and weak stress, as you see. So you see the strong and the weak. And you can also, it will also be that it is weak and then strong, because if maybe it is starting with something like above. Let me look at the word like above. You cannot say.
Excuse me, ma.
Yes, please.
Okay, please. This binary, sorry. I don't know what I'm drawing it backward, but when I saw something like as I see these two songs there, so I'm just thinking this binary, is it about the clustering? Is it about cluster, this binary? Because I just see the diagram here. So I will just
the diagram has S. What does S mean? Can anybody help us? From what I've said so far, what do you think S means?
Stress.
Okay, the stress. Okay.
I'm not saying she's correct.
I don't know.
I think it means the strong syllable.
Okay, because I did not follow. So that's why I want to be clarified, because I'm still
Are you the one that your baby is crying?
Yes.
No, I think you're not following. So you are going us back. Okay. No, you're not following. I always tell people, you try and do all you can to make sure you are available. There was a day I was cooking because my husband was around. The only time reason I could actually fix this time is because it's not really fully with me here. So but when the other day was around, I had to be cooking and be getting this thing done. So then I had to beg him, please let me finish the class, and I'll come and finish the class. And you have to just create the time. Because I'm also creating. The only reason I feel the only reason I feel I put this time because my last semester, every time I have class, because my class used to be immediately after closing. Maybe VC will call a meeting and then I'll be there. It's at time till 5 p.m. when I would have finished my class. That was why I don't have to find another way out. It's not because it's convenient for me. You have to be doing this, to be doing this. It's not convenient for me at all. So please, if even today when I was discussing with the director of he just shouted. I said, yes, because that's the only way I could just make sure that I can do all the classes. If not, if there's a meeting, I cannot say I'm a dean. Maybe if I'm no longer a dean, I can fix time for anywhere because I have control of my time to a large extent. Though not that if I'm called, I'm not, but as a team, a meeting will become that my faculty should be presented. How can I be around there and be sending a representative? That's why I have to fix this time. So please let us pay attention. I am begging us. This 1 hour, just tell your family to help you and go your people or something like that. Now this S means strong, and that was what I was talking about. The binary is that, and if you have gone taking the time to go and read ENG841, this thing is also there. Because instead of the S-bar theory that we were having before, we now have the what was it called now? We now have the what was the name now? I can't seem to even remember now. We now have the one that's I will remember the name. The basic phrase BPS. BPS means what? Bare phrase structure. That's what we now have now. So, and it's also going on this pattern. The binarity, that is the same binarity pattern that is following. So you have strong and weak. And like I also said somewhere, you can also have weak and strong. And I was trying to demonstrate why you can have weak and strong. That was I was not drawing, I was not putting this example. So when we say a binary tree, we are talking about a metrical tree. Binary tree is a strong and weak stress. Or in the case that you have, like you have in the above now. If you have above now, above is a weak stress. You see the stress is on this. So you have 2 syllables there. And the first one there is a sure. So it cannot bear stress, it cannot bear the primary stress. So the stress is on the second syllable. So you are having what here? Weak and strong. Is that not so? So that is what you just said that. So it means that you can see when you get to metrical grid, you will see now that there are levels that you can also have. So by this one, it is saying that it is linear, that it is just following, just going to the maybe to the right on that, following each other like that. So that's what it says there. So metrical tree that is just the branching of strong and weak. Or like I'm trying demonstration with this particular example of the word here. Let me see now. I'm trying to get okay, this one doesn't help. Okay, I think I've seen what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. So like we have here now. So this is why I try to guys see that okay, this is above. So above, then you see that it is weak, it's on strength, whereas above is strength. So you have weak and strong here. But within the structure of a sentence, you may have more of if it's a bread and butter now, you see now bread is stressed, is on stress, and bar is stress, and is on stress. So you have stress on stress, or strong and weak. That's what you have the pattern in that particular bread and butter, in that particular phrase. So you may have examples like that. But I hope somebody know what I'm talking about when I say bread and butter. I'm talking about this. Okay, let me put this in the transcribed form. I could not get the other symbols. That was why I had to. You see, I will still not get it with pattern. I will still not get the straight. You know, it is it should be. You know, I cannot get it. So let me just put it full. Now you see in this case now. You see me now, I've already gone to, I wanted to bring it, I don't know. Okay. Please take something, doesn't work well. Okay, let me put it here. Because I could not put a symbol, that was why I just have to be devising other ways of doing it. Now, you see now, this right here has stress, and back to have stress. But this is on stress and this is on stress. So this is the point I'm making here. So when you say bread and butter, now you see that the stress is on these two, and then you have weakness here. They have weakness here too. So this is the pattern that you see that you have in this thing. So this is just the point I am trying to make. Okay. I hope that is clear now. The person that doesn't know what we're talking about. Okay, so let's go on now. So that's for vertical tree. So you see it's binary that is branching into two, and then goes like that on that in its analysis of this thing. Of course, maybe in the case that when you have maybe the weak now will be followed by a weak and then a strong and all of that. So that is the idea. But in the case of metrical grid, what do you have now? It's very as a hierarchical relationship of the syllables. So the syllables now, there's always a highest point. There's always a highest point of the syllables. Now there's always, like we have in the example of education here. So you have this pattern it is marked so that all of the syllables are put in a box, a grid like we have in tables. So you now see now that the one that has the highest points there is the one that is the peak, and then it marks that it is higher than the other one that are below it. And then you see now that even here, now you see the education now. In education, you see the D, we actually have a secondary stress. So that means the primary stress here is higher than this one. And then the other one that are stressed. Of course, I think we can talk about even up to three kinds of stresses. You have the secondary, you have the tertiary, and then the tertiary being the lowest and the primary being the highest or the most pronounced. Now let us look at do a table to present the grid of this world with the highest point indicating the peak to demonstrate. I don't know if anybody can use the annotator to try and do it from your end. Can anybody try it? Can you do the annotator and try and drop the table? This one is a familiar word. So, and I've explained it now. So I think somebody should be able to do that. You have the big stress, then you have the secondary, and you have the primary. So how do we now arrive at the hierarchy of the relationship that within the table or a grid? So that is the point here. So is somebody going to try for us? All of you will be waiting for me to do it.
What should we try, man?
I said you both should draw a table to present the grid of this word, education. I've explained to you now, the highest point I've indicated it, the secondary one I've indicated it, and then the one that are primary I've indicated them. So what I expect you people now to do is to help me to do the analysis. You're not even going to the activity now. You are not okay.
Actually, I'm just coming online, so I don't know how the analysis is. But all I can say is that
This is it. I'm not presenting it here. I'm not presenting it here, and I've explained it. So I just want you to practice it. I want him to find this thing now to do. Then I'm going to fill the text now. Okay, I seem to be. Now, if you are putting pointed, this is just okay. Let me see if I can use the any other way to do this. So when you look at this now, you will see that the highest point, why these two are the same. Are we see them? Why these two are the same? Because they are both weak stresses. But this one, because it's secondary, it has more diamond, whereas this one now has, because it's the peak, it has the highest number. Is it clear now what we are talking about?
Exactly.
Okay. So that is that. That's the point I'm trying to, that's what I ask you to do. Okay, so let's go to that person that is disturbing the class. I will come and remove you now if you don't stop that. I wanted one of you to do this, but you guys just try to still leave me to be the one to be doing all this. Eh? Because that's where I will know that you people understood what I was talking about. Anyway, so let's go on. So let's talk about stress clash now. So when you talk about stress clash, we actually are talking about the fact that when you have two strong, two primary stresses that follow each other directly, you may have a clash. Like I show you now from the example of above, I show you from the bread and butter, you have strong, weak, strong, weak. But here you may have a situation where you actually have two stress levels follow each other. And many times I think that happens actually in compound growth. Now, what is the solution? The solution is then I think I was giving another example then that has a strong, two strong stresses. Now, if you have, because when you have already said that lexical words that they are full, they usually have full stress, and then maybe then you may also have a phrase where you have two stress things following one another. I gave an example, but I can't remember it. I gave an example before. Now, what happens is this, that you may have a weakening of the stress. You may have a weakening of, or the stress may now shift. It may shift from where it was originally. And that's why when you see at times polysyllabic pause, you see that if you talk about understanding now, you will see that the stress may move from maybe where it is, then the primary second stress will now move forward, and primary stress will now move beyond where it was before. So you may have such situation because these two strong stress are actually clashing. So you may have one having to shift, or that then when you have this can also be more common in words that are followed immediately by moral. When we talk about moral, when you have a strong a cluster a cluster of consonants. So it usually give you, when it's more than two, you usually have a moral. And then if you have, so you may usually have such situation occurring. Now, like I said, you also have this usually occurring among compound words. But what may usually happen is that one stress will now give way and probably move forward. That's why when you have polysyllabic words, you may now have up to 2 or 3 stresses there, but one will shift and become weaker so that the other one can be fully expressed. And probably the one on the root may remain. So depending on actually the composition of the words, may have this kind of thing happening at times. So this is what I just said. You know, so this is how most times these are most times the stress clash is handled. The stress because to avoid not on grammaticality in this case now. To avoid the stress placement becoming problematic, so you may have the stress. So you try to resolve its own problem by trying to shift. So that the primary stress now, in that word, you don't have like 2 primary stresses. You may not have maybe a primary stress followed by secondary stress, followed by tertiary stress. And this is how the clash try to be resolved, because you are not supposed to have 2 primary stress standing strong together when there's no anything intervening them. I don't know. I try to remember the word I was using. Maybe I remember it before we finish, so that you will see the example of what I'm talking about here. So this changing of position of primary stress at times is caused by 2 strong things standing by. But like I said, you may easily have that occurring in full. When you talk about school, it has full stress. When you talk about okay, say classroom, I mean they are both supposed to have primary stress. But then what you usually have is that when you have such compounded growth, you may have the stress now. Probably the primary stress shifting forward, and then the secondary stress being the one behind. So this is what you usually have at times. So that's where you try to resolve when you have the case of stress clash. So this was, but of course, we can also check this out, like I have been saying. Now let's look at stress parameters. I hope I'm making good time. Yeah, I'm making good time because we started on time today. Now, now when you look at stress parameters, and so this part of the state that actually affect also the analysis of metric phonology. So you look again that when you have the fit of syllables that are usually banded, that so you have to have them that they have to be in weak, strong and weak, or weak and strong. So you don't just leave them freely. So they'll be in a fit, and what you call iambic fit if you are doing your poetry, then or to create in binary. So you have them occurring like in this manner. One up, down, up, down, up, down. That's usually the normal pattern in the English language. Mind you, we're talking about English language, but we know that most of our Nigerian languages are actually what do you call it now? They're actually tone languages. So they are not stress timed. They are tonal. So you may not have the same time. That's why you see that somebody is speaking with this stress within metrical pattern, we begin to say that this person is speaking phone. That's what we say in the local parlance. So it may not necessarily be that because the person is trying to correct. The person has learned to master and to speak in this with the stress. But most of us, we may not be actually be doing that because we tend to stress every syllable as we do in our indigenous language. And that is we tend to transfer. We tend to transfer it into our speaking of English. So this is whether it's a good or it's a bad thing, I don't know. But maybe by the time we get to Module 5, we may begin to ask ourselves whether it is good or it is bad. Now, quantity sensitivity, the weight of a syllable is determined by its. So a peak that is heavy will make that syllable to be heavy. But if it's like I show you the example of a verb now. Now you have the stress fully realized on the second syllable because you have the first syllable be a sure. So a sure is not expected to be having full or primary stress, where there's a full vowel to take the primary stress. So you don't go and of course, like I said, if it's a Nigerian language where we have to know, languages are to know, we may tend to have that being the case. But in English, that it is not the case, then you have the sing-song. So the quantity is determined not by the fact that there's a syllable there, but whether the syllable has a full peak, that has a full vowel, so that can take on the primary stress, and not just a vowel that is not that normally represents weakened, that is usually in the weakened form, like we have in Shua. If you have a Shua that has what was it called now? A Shua that has a colon at the back, it tends to be a full Shua. So like you have in shirt or in girl. So that one now we take on the full stress. But if it is just the weakened form, then it cannot. It's just a way of representing the weak stresses. So we need to also take note of that. Then we have also the distance. Now this distance is from one boundary or the secondary stress has a role to play. So it is when you have polysyllabic words, like I gave the example now, there tend to be many, about 2 or even more points of nuclei in the polysyllable. But what it does is that one will give way for the other, and one will downgrade to primary and secondary stress, and then maybe what is at the root, that is the very, very root of that morpheme, the root morpheme, we actually continue to retain the primary stress. Whereas the one that is now coming after it, that is also near, be a root morpheme, may now graduate to secondary stress. So when you have police barrel there, so depending on that distance from the word boundary, it tends to be that the thing now goes into the middle, except in cases where you have stresses like you have in elongated syllables, like you have in guarantee. So you have in guarantee, then you see the second stress and move forward, whereas it's on the final syllable that you now have the primary stress. So these are also some of the ones that are actually not the usual practice. But when this polysyllabic, maybe up to about like 4 syllables, you tend to have is that the stress will be, the primary stress will be moving to the middle, because you may likely also have that the root morpheme is actually going to be, when you talk about unfaithfulness, you may see that unfaithfulness now, the root morpheme has moved to the middle. Whereas if you say faith or faithful, you see that it is still, it can be at the initial position. But by the time you put an unstressed label like of course it cannot be via stress. It can only, then the stress will actually move from first position to the second, which is now the root morpheme, faith itself. So you can look at it as a way that the stress, the polysyllabic words tend to have the apparent stress that tends to move to the middle. Now let's look at this. Let's discuss the operations of each of these elements. If oh, wow, and I've edited this thing of metrical phonology, that should be off. So of metrical phonology. Someone wants to talk to us about that. It's like I'm talking above our head today. We are not cooperating today. I'll talk about metrical tree. I'll talk about metrical tree. I'll talk about stress splash. Who wants to tell us something that you understand from it? We are 14 in this class and nobody is talking. How am I doing all these things so that each point that we make, that we can refresh our sign? So this is the whole point. So why are we guys not talking now? Why are we refusing to talk? Okay, so I will turn into your exam question. Okay, good. Good. What is her? I said you should talk. You are not refusing. You are refusing to talk. Oh yeah, this is basic. Okay, so let's look at extrametricality. This is basically for analyzing words along the prosodic features. Now, this one said, I wanted us to actually discuss it. This one that I even see people are refusing to talk. I don't know what people are not going to do here. You have basically that when you talk about extrametricality, there are a lot of controversies about this, but basically it is a tool for analyzing word and the what is it called now? The prosodic features. So that you look at it, okay, you look at phonological units such as segments, as food, as moral, as syllable, a word or aphysis. And this all this together now can determine, you can even have particular words, maybe particular sounds. Yes, I've said segments, particular sounds making extrametrical or forming a pattern of extrametricality, so that you can say, okay, maybe every word that ends with E, that you say, okay, that this is the pattern that it occurs, that in every situation that you cannot say, oh, it is extrametrical, metrical, and that is why it is having this pattern and it is meaning this. But you can also have a foot. Of course, a foot is what? That is strong, weak, strong, weak. So that gives you a metrical foot. Then you have the moral. Like I said, now that if it is a heavy syllable at the end, then you form and you have a cluster of the consonants, it tends to become a moral. Then when you also have the syllable, it can also be a word. So depending on what it is that is the pattern, then you see that you look at prosodic features of its occurrence there. And that's what you call extrametricality. And that there are many, like I said, there are many, I think about 4 or 5, about 3 or 4 scholars have raised their different approaches. So you may want to look at one and identify, but I wouldn't know whether we even bother to read that up. So there are many controversies surrounding this concept. But essentially is that you are using this tool to analyze words along the prosodic features of the segment of food or moral or syllable or word or even affixes. So it could be at any of this level that you are doing your analysis. So this is what we are looking at extrametricality. So you may decide to say, okay, I want to look at it from my analysis to be just the segments, but that will actually be a bit cumbersome. So, but when you look at food, you look at the strong and weak stress, then it may actually begin to give you a pattern. Then when you look at the moral, yes, when you look at the, okay, you're having these consonant clusters and they're forming a moral and there's a pattern about it, you may then look at that, then you may look at the syllable. So any of these things that you said to look at will be from this, but like I said, there are a lot of controversies there. And that's why I said, I wanted us also look at it and identify one or two and discuss them. So I don't know if any of us have anything to say on that. Does anybody have anything to say on the controversies that surround the extra metricality? Does anybody want to say anything here? Hello.
Hello.
Are we still there or we have disappeared?
Yes, you are here.
You said what? Who is talking? No, it's like I'm just talking to myself today.
You're not talking to yourself, ma. Only that we've not deeply understood. I said you are not talking to yourself, ma. Only that we've not deeply understood.
Okay, so what really is the issue? At what point did that look to be? Because the first one I did, nobody answered me. The second one, nobody answered me. Now this is the third one. People are staring, you don't understand. So at what point did I lose you? At what point, what is really the conclusion?
Yes, ma. I joined the class late, and it's one of those factors that.
Why would you be joining class late? You should be coming to class before me.
I had issue with my Zoom, so I was unable to join on time, despite all my attempts. So I finally got through later.
But you guys are supposed to see. We are still mixing this thing. This is presentation, not lecture. We are supposed to come here, having read, for me to just make it clearer. And then if they say that is not clear, then you ask questions, then I explain. So it's not supposed to be that I will come and be teaching you. And you're not undergraduates, yes. Even undergraduates, there was a style I was doing. I was teaching them and taking them by the hand, but there was a style I was using to do it because we are supposed to do facilitation. Your course material is supposed to be the one teaching you. No, but we are still coming to class like expecting me to come and teach. But that is not the way ODL is made. I only try to make sure that, okay, this is our first class. I decided to say, okay, let me facilitate it because I saw people, maybe up to half will be failing and all of that. So, okay, let me find a way around it. And that's why I said the HOD should give the undergraduate course to somebody else so that I can face this one. So, we are supposed to read ahead and then we discuss. Sincerely, what I want to be doing is just because I've been busy, I will not be able to drop the program the way I really was. What I want us to be doing, like I said from the beginning, is that you'll be doing projects. And the assistant may not say all of you when to do your contribution to the discussion forum. Not all of you. Some did not. Some did well. I think one or two really understood the question. But the other boys, people are just parabolating.
But Prof, ma, please, all these concepts we are dealing with now, are they part of the material? Because I've never seen anything like extra metricality and some other one we discuss here. I've never seen something like that in the material.
Okay, I was suspecting as much because when I was preparing the class, I was suspecting, okay, what I will do, but it's a very rough draft. I'm going to send it to you people in the chat room. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay, man.
I will send it to the chat room so that you can look at it. I was suspecting that section is probably not available to you people. So, okay, we have a deal. I will send it to the chat room, then set up a discussion forum for us to look at some of these things, and then you give me your thoughts on them. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. I think that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay. So thank you. I guess I can stop sharing now.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I will do that then. Before the next class, hopefully we'll be able to read and then raise our questions, and then we talk about it so that whatever is not clear, then I think by then you will be able to follow me. So it's a very rough draft. It's a draft that I actually did track change. What was it called now? Track changes on that I sent back to the author. So, but it's more updated. I was hoping the final draft would be ready earlier, but I've seen that he has not sent it back to me. So I was hoping before your results, I will have it, then I'll be able to upload that one. But he has not sent it back to me. So I will send you the draft. So just take it like that it's the draft, and please. And but it has all the content that you need. Yes, the first one may not be complete actually. So I was suspecting as much. So, but I made up my mind when I was preparing the class that okay, I will send you the draft. If you people complete that, it's not your course material, then I will send it to your draft, then you can work with this. Is that okay?
It's okay, ma'am.
Okay, so let me talk. You want to ask a question?
Yes, I want to ask something concerning the material. Please, ma, can you prescribe any book for us on these aspects that we can download online, or maybe one by Peter Roach or any of the phoneticians? So maybe you can prescribe.
You see, we always have. Do you always see that section on further reading? And I will actually mention authors. Even as we are discussing, I mentioned authors. Is that not so?
I joined the class late, ma. Sorry, ma.
You see now, you are reporting yourself. So when I see you report material, look at the further reading section. Okay. Look at it. You know that is also where the author probably got some of your ideas from. So also look for those books. And what I will send, I will also forward my own book, but I don't think my own is dealing with extra metropolitan. But I also forward it to you. Anybody that is interested to look it up or to get it and to there. I also forward that to you. I think it's one of the recommended texts in the material. When you look at the first, the course guide, the course material, some of the list of materials that are crucial for the course are also listed there. So I think it is for you guys to actually check online. I think there's one of my book that somebody actually, okay, no, it's a paper I wrote that somebody posted in the chat room somewhere. Okay, so that is it. So we'll do that. But let me go back to the discussion forum. I was going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about discussion forum. See, it's just because I'm busy, I would have in the first place, not all of you went to look at that thing and to attempt it. So you are telling me I'm wasting my time. And that's the simplest part of the course. And I just wanted to see how much people have understood that for us to be able to know whether we have a problem on our hands or not. But many of you did not bother. Some of you did. Now, somebody was saying that as it is in the paper. Which paper? You are supposed to, what are you supposed to be doing? You are supposed to read up around. You are not writing paper because the impression it gives me that the person went to download somebody's work and copy and pasted for me at discussion. Then how does that help you to learn?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Some of us registered late. Person like me, I registered, I completed my registration on
one of the people that wrote the correct thing. I don't know, but I'm trying to remember the person's name now. It may even be, but I know the person has a Muslim name. The person wrote the correct thing. The person wrote the correct thing. So it is no excuse. If you just that thing I gave you is module 1, whatever. And if you have read that place before you answer the question, you should be able to give me an answer. So that is just it. All I want to do is to be sure that if you have a grasp and understanding of what we're talking about, you are not undergraduate, and I cannot say this enough. You are supposed to critique, to synthesize, and to be able to give us your thoughts. Not just the teacher said, you give me your, and you see the question I'll be asking is that you give me your position on this matter. So that's what you're supposed to do with your dissertation. Because that's what we're going to have, even with the writing. That's chat room I created for research. It's because the students continue to just do this garbage in, garbage out. You are supposed to give me your own view. It's just unfortunate because we have the same system in what was it called now? TMA. If not, I could not be doing all this nonsense TMA with you people. You'll be doing seminar. You'll be doing seminar, but then for now we don't have any way around it. We don't have a way around it because I even complain for my faculty that we don't want this. We want the students to write because that's what we are teaching them. They say we cannot go and be different on our own. So that is just it. So please, there's a place we can see, try and practice what we want us to do. For us to be able to use our mental faculty to critique. Please, you don't have to agree with me. If you make sense, and it is within what makes sense, I look at it. I look at it that, okay, oh, this is a new perspective. And that's where I teach anyway. That's where I teach. I am trying to give you basic and skeleton so that you can build flesh on it. But please don't go online and just download somebody's work and be copying for me. It won't help you. It won't help you. It will just put me off. But when you're able to critique, you're able to say this. Yes, I know these particular courses that I'm teaching you are they are not political science or something like that you're supposed to be having opinion. They are kind of core scientific things. But even then, it doesn't mean they are not past that. I've shown you now. Traversiality has about 3 or 4 views. I show you in that of in some parts of English that somebody criticized the one Haley but that is the core book that we use to teach generative phonology. But somebody said that they are forcing the thing to look like this. People I've shown you even in your syntax class that people have criticized TGG from the beginning. And it can be modified into the point that it's accommodating syntax. Before, syntax was semantic was an anathema to TGG. But it has shifted ground. Structure is correct, and then there's no communication, no meaning. That doesn't make sense. If nobody has challenged that, just say no, he knows everything. We will not have what we have today. So please let us understand that you are a master's class. We expect you to be working as if you are prepared for a PhD now. So not just garbage in, garbage out, please. So you should learn to criticize. And I'm not telling you that you just go and be dreaming up ideas. No. Synthesize what you have read, and then you'll be able to critique. And now when you see your courses are not many, are they many? There are not many. You have only 4 core courses in a semester. Only 4. Then you also expect to do 1 elective to join it. And so if you actually put yourself to this thing, you will do it. When I was doing my own, I think we have more than 4, I don't know. And then each one, you'll be doing seminar every week. Nobody is going to be sitting and be teaching you. Nobody. You have to come and teach the other people. Like now, it's just because I'm not able to design and I'm trying to say how to do that, and then because of our time. That one you will have full semester, but here now, you have only 8 weeks of facilitation. I'm supposed to tell you people, and I've not been able to, because some people have not, I will want to assign topics to you people. All these topics I'm teaching, you're supposed to come and teach us. Then I will just look at it and say, okay, what you are saying makes sense, it doesn't make sense. That's what I wanted to do, but I hope, hopefully by the next, if I can't do this next slide, I'm still hoping somehow I will be able to do that thing I want to do. I want to teach people to be able to, so that by the time you're doing your dissertation, you are prepared already to know how to critique, how to challenge ideas. That's the kind of study I want to create. Not I just do garbage out for me. The people I'm supervising, that's the way they're having problem, because they don't understand my own. You just go and copy somebody and give me. I cannot take that, but I won't sign it. But now that they're understanding me, they're going to thank me. So I'm not a difficult, I'm very easy to please. Very, very easy to please. But then you have to do the right thing. So please don't let us do garbage. So that's somebody was able to actually give me good answers. You were able to look at it and you provided the answers. I think I'll still go back there. I don't know, it was supposed to finish yesterday. Maybe I still go back there, I'll probably extend the time or whatever, and then so that you can see it, or just make my comments. I was going to do that, but I just said no, let me just come to class first and talk to you people there. So that you know that you will know. Please, let us just have a mind that asks questions. Not just look like and say everything, ask questions. You may even be your friend. Like in my visit, used to say, interrogate the system. So interrogate what you are learning. And I would like that. I would like that. Not that, oh, I didn't see the course material. You should not restrict yourself to course material. You are not undergraduate students. Please, you have lists of reading there. And I'm doing all I can to, if I see any material, I try to post it to that research chat room so that people can look at it and learn from it. Is that okay? So I'll look at it. I have a board meeting today. That was I don't have to concentrate on that. Even though I was planning yesterday when I read through all your comments, I prepared for class, and at the same time I also prepared for my board meeting today. So I said just later I thought I would remember the name. There's somebody that did what the president. One person and two. Then the first person that posted, I think was it Daniel, whatever. She was saying she agreed with the person, and the person was saying the wrong thing. You just say you agree. I said you people should comment on one another's zone. That's what I said. I said comment on the other person's zone. You are just saying you agree with it. And no, she's the only one that did that. She's the only one that was calling me, oh, that I agree with your style. I agree with your style. It's only one person that did that. All of you just came put your own. Teacher said we should talk. You didn't look at other people's zone and see whether you have a comment to say, oh, no, you got this one wrong. You have put it like this. You don't have to insult somebody. What you do is that you say, no, on this point, I do not agree. This is the way I feel about it. And if the person doesn't have to accept what you said, but that is the way you see it. And you have a right to see it that way. Is the one that is the problem is what is they are doing in Lagos, trying to now begin to demonize people. That's one that is wrong. That one is very wrong. That one is it is madness. That one is wrong. You don't start just for political this thing, you start now saying some people are this, some people are that, and begin to prepare people for genocide. That one is wrong. Please, if you are part of that kind of narrative, please stop it. It is wrong. It is wrong. There's nobody that's not in Nigeria. Anywhere you are in this country, you are in Nigeria. That one is very, very wrong. And the people are just turning to tools in the hands of somebody's ambition. That you don't understand that you think that you are defending your. It's a lie. Their children are where they are. Then you just be risking your life. So if it's not such a thing, we are scholars. If you don't see yourself like that, see yourself like that today. We are scholars. So the beauty of scholarship is that we don't have to agree. I'm the chairman of my faculty board. People Senate that my vice is the chairman. He will tell us that do we agree? He will ask. When I say that, I say, okay, board, what do you say? Because I'm just chairing the board. I am not the board. I'm the only chair. I'm the only privileged to chair because I'm the dean. When I'm no longer dean, means I'll become the fellow member. So, but because they are eggheads, I cannot just tell them have decided. No, I can't do that. And that's what we are training you people to be. You have to tell them, everybody will look at you with debate, and then the superior argument wins. It's as simple as that. The first thing that everyone HOD started complaining about today is that, no, the way they did the agenda doesn't agree with this. I say, okay, I told the person, well, how is the Senate doing it? We look at it. Everybody said, no, the way it is, it's okay. When did everybody that said that? So that is just it. I may have the veto power, but then I have to also be careful in using it because you are leading academics. Not people that will just say, you just a zombie. No, they are not zombie. So, and that's the way it is, please. So I will put another discussion topic, and I want us to respond. Then look at what somebody else has written and say, no, but I think that you don't need to insult the person. It is not Twitter. It's not Twitter land that you say that you can insult people and all of that. It's even stupid thing they will be saying. But this one is a class. So you can just look at it. We are thinking, we are arguing based on reason. So you give your reason why you don't agree with or why you think, oh, that it is correct because the person said this and said, give us your reasons. So that is that. So any further question? Because already now. Any further question?
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Prof. I just want to ask a question about the next topic for another class so that we can prepare it. I mean, the next discussion, the topic for the next discussion.
It's module 4. We are going to module 4.
Module 4. Thank you. Module 4. All right, ma.
Okay, so I will forward the DT to the chat room so you guys can share it. Okay, thank you guys. So have
all right, thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Prof.